I do only what's mine to do. And I fuck it open. I give it all. I love it open. It's mine. And it's this. No one else is going to do this. Right? I can't turn away. Right? I step in, and to be a unique self is to be an outrageous lover. But what does an outrageous lover do? She commits outrageous acts of love. And then I realize, oh, that's why I'm here. It's my greatest joy. I commit outrageous acts of love for myself. I love myself madly. I love you madly. Because you know what? The whole thing is a love story. Barbie and Ken are real. It's real. It's the most real thing that exists.
What I wanted to do is kind of locate ourselves into where we are and why we are doing here today what we're doing. Because as Christina mentioned, we're going to look at a beautiful clip, a recording, a teaching by Marc Gafni that we did at Eros Mystery School. So we spent 5 days together, which we do every year at this amazing mystery school. And the last day of mystery school, Marc did an extraordinary day on the movie Barbie. And for those of you who come here more often, you know that we have spoken about Barbie for several weeks at the end of September. And then, of course, what happened since 7 October, the atrocities of Hamas happened, and we went deep into a conversation, of course, around Israel and Hamas. And we also noted that there's actually a connection between Barbie and Hamas, and they are not completely unrelated to each other. So what Dr. Marc Gafni has shared is that there is a connection between the two. And even though there's no moral equivalence between Barbie and Hamas, they are both degraded love stories. And that is what makes both of them actually so dangerous. On the one hand, we have Hamas as a destructive expression of fundamentalism, which degrades and demonizes the body and desire itself. And on the other hand, we have Barbie as an expression of postmodernism, which disqualifies love, value, and desire as non-real and as social constructs. So postmodernism on the one hand and fundamentalism on the other hand are swelling movements in today's world, and they will both destroy us. And then Marc Gafni shared that there is a third way, a third possibility, a third story, which is a shared story of value rooted in the clarified realization that the universe is a love story. Reality is desire, and no one is excluded from this love story. So we need to find our way between the binary of Barbie and Hamas and realize that both of these are failed love stories and that we can actually articulate a new vision of reality, the universe, a love story. So that's what we are here to do in One Mountain, Many Paths. That is our intention, as it is here every week, to articulate this new love story in response to existential risk. So in that context, we're going to look today at this beautiful teaching by Dr. Marc Gafni from Eros Mystery School, which is a deep analysis and evolutionary sense-making of reading this sacred text of public culture, this movie called Barbie. So I will see you on the other side and have a beautiful, beautiful teaching. Thank you.
So here we go. Okay, so we're going to the movies. We're going to Barbie. Now, stay close. Barbie is exploding all over the world. It's getting rave reviews, right, as this next step in the feminine, and right. And I've read so many reviews on it. And actually, and again, I'm going to try and be so economical in words. We've talked about Barbie already 3 times this week, the first day. This day, we said that the gender crisis is the meta crisis in the beginning, the first day, right? Did we say that? We said the gender crisis and meta crisis are one. We're going to need to understand that before we walk out of this door, okay? Because we can't just be a line. The circle has to close. We have to also have the capacity of depth where we're not flooded with information or entertainment. We can actually see through. We can discern, Okay, so we're going to do an exercise, a spiritual practice, an analytic practice, an existential practice, right? A business practice in discernment. We're going to cultivate discernment. It's wildly funny at certain times, right? We're going to the movies, but it's actually crazy deep. We got to make a whole bunch of points. Once we're in, okay? And I'm going to sit for this. I'm going to move out of the way as, right, the movie clips come on. And here we go. So the first clip I want to show you, right, is this clip in which someone says, what are we going to do with Barbie? Now, I'm going to operate with the general assumption here, and tell me if that works, that the general sense of this movie you have. So let me just check again how many people have seen this. Okay, great. How many people have not seen it? What's a bunch? Okay, so let me just give you just a little tad more. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you like a 2-minute synopsis. Okay, let me just read the synopsis. I'm reading from the the prompter in front of me. So let me just read it quickly. Okay, so Barbie is a movie about a doll. There's a Barbie world. There's a real world, right? Barbie's made by Mattel. Barbie's an idealized world. We're going to see a whole bunch of Barbie clips. It's an idealized world of the feminine, right, where Barbie reigns, right? Barbie's in charge, right? There's an early Barbie doll, which is just, archaic and ancient, and then the new Barbie doll comes online. That's how the movie opens, and Barbie's a doctor, and Barbie's a lawyer, and Barbie's a Nobel Prize winner, and Barbie's ostensibly, so Barbieland thinks, the hero of all women. That's the story, right? And then at some point, something goes wrong. We'll get to what goes wrong a little later, but Barbie has these feelings and thoughts of death and of cellulite, which are quite related, right? Let's not go down that road, right? And we realize, someone who's been playing with her in the real world, that must be those person's thoughts. There's been what's called a malfunction, right? A leakage between the two worlds. How can this be solved, right? Barbie goes to find that out from Weird Barbie, who's been cast out of the circle, but actually has some wisdom. Weird Barbie says you've got to go and fix the rend, R-E-N-D, right? The rip, right, in the fabric between the worlds. How do you do that? You go there and find that girl who was playing with you. How will I know who she is? You'll know. What do? You'll figure that out, but you'll heal the rend, and then you can come back and go on life forever in Barbieland. Okay? Approximately. Right? Now, what happens is Barbie goes to the real world. Now, it's not Barbie by herself, because in Barbieland, there's Barbie and Ken. There's a whole Ken world. There's a whole Barbie world. Right? In Barbie and Ken, it's Barbie and Ken. That's what there is, right? This movie we just saw, right, Bagger Vance, at the core of the movie is a love story. That's a given. There's a line in a circle. And when I say a line in a circle, I don't mean men and women, obviously. There's a line in a circle, right? There's this deep allurement. There's this sense of, wow, right? I begin to appear in a new way in your gaze, right? Which is the essence of what a love story is. When you look at me, something new emerges in me. I begin to live in a new way, and some deeper part of me emerges in your gaze, and the relationship between us is not a social construction. Actually, that's the dance of allurement, which is Cosmos itself. We saw Footloose, right, on the first day. We saw Matter, right? We saw, remember, Matter, the dance of matter. We saw the cellular dance. We saw the Footloose dance. We actually understood, right, that reality is Eros, all the way up and all the way down, that the quality of Eros is desire, and the desire for greater intimacy. Intimacy means more wholeness in the context, or shared identities in the context of otherness. Right? Evolution is the progressive deepening of intimacies. Evolution is a story of clarifying allurements. My unique self is my unique set of allurements. And there's always, right, the dance between line and circle. Luria, we saw, right? Reality is lines and circles, all the way up and all the way down. And lines and circles live in me. That's my love story. When I'm cosmo-erotic humanism in person, then I can engage, right, the next love story. Okay? Right? Then I can actually be a mad lover, right, on all the levels. Right? That's the core of Cosmos. Now, for a second, along comes modernity, short 2 sentences, and says, no, value's not quite real. Modernity doesn't say it out loud. David Hume, if you read him carefully, was quite clear about it. But it's kind of hidden because that's too radical of a thing to say. So, for example, in the American Constitution, we say about value, we say we hold these truths to be self-evident, which is another way of saying we have no idea where these things are from, right? But this is how we're going to live. That's actually what self-evident means here, right? I mean, we can't source these values. They're not sourced in Revelation, but we're going to live in them. Okay, so fine. So we deconstruct the field of value, but we live in it anyways. But the one value that actually still lives at the center is love. So one way of saying it is, we killed all the gods except for Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Right, the World Trade Center is about to come down, right? I'm about to jump. I've got a second to make a phone call. We collected the cell phones, and we transcribed them. What most people did is called one person and said, I love you. Right, so Aphrodite's still somehow there. Somehow, even after we deconstructed all the values, we kind of assume, okay, love's real. You go to ChatGPT-4, right, the oracular structure of a new emergent AI. You ask, is love real? It says, not quite. The oracular structure of a worldwide AI tutor. Not quite. And actually, there's this seeping influence that's existed in literature, and it's existed all over the place, right? Which kind of deconstructs value and deconstructs love with it. But popular culture kind of insisted love is real until Barbie. Once you get what a big deal that is, right? The point of the Barbie movie is that there's no field of value and there's no Ken in Barbie. So when you walk out of Barbie, in your body, I walked out of Barbie and my body was shaking. And everyone's walking around, yay, fantastic, great movie. The people went to see it was, oh, that was fun. I said, oh my God, did I read that wrong? Right, and then I went and collected the stuff. I looked at the songs that are played. I looked at the text of the songs, which songs are replayed. There's one song that's replayed 3 times. The song's called Closer to Fine by Indigo Girls. It's the actual theme of the movie. They put it in the trailer, right? The point of this movie is Ken and Barbie, by their very nature, are an illusion. And it's not just that Ken needs to develop himself and Barbie needs to develop herself, and now they can get together at this deeper level of consciousness. No, that's not what's happening. There is no Ken and Barbie, meaning the entire structure that we've described is an illusion. And that chills the very one heart of culture, and the chill enters culture, and you're not quite sure why you're chilled. But it's an insidious undermining of literally the last bastion of value. We killed all the gods, except for Aphrodite. What remains? Ken and Barbie. Ken and Barbie's not real. Now, if I would make that claim based on a line here and there, that'd be a mistake. If you read the movie carefully, you read the movie like a text. It's a text. It's actually shocking, and it's actually exactly where we're going. The assumption we make is love's always going to be real. It's not true. Put ChatGPT-4 together with Barbie, you begin to see where we're going. Right? We're going very fast off a cliff where there's no field of value. And that very notion that love is real. Who wrote the book? Right, there's 2 books. One I mentioned, which is Walden 2, written by B.F. Skinner, right, who talks about putting the world into what became called a Skinner's box. And if you read Walden 2 carefully, written in 1948, right, what he says very clearly is love is not real, love is contrived. We'll create invisible controllers behind the scenes, right, to make the right matches and to split up the right people. They won't even know it happened. What's the other book that was written 6 months later? Anybody? 1984, George Orwell, written at the exact same time. Skinner, when he taught at Harvard, would assign 1984, right, and Walden 2. And the entire movement in 1984, Orwell, there's something called the Ministry of Love. The Ministry of Love. And it's in the Ministry of Love where the entire point of the book is to take the relationship between Winston and his beloved and to get them to betray each other, right? And once they've betrayed each other, they then realize love's not real. So the fear we've always had is a 1984 totalitarianism that betrays the structure of love. We're forced to betray love. What Skinner said is, no. I'm not worried about totalitarianism, right? That's not the issue. He says we can deal with totalitarianism. Totalitarianism got it right, said Skinner, but they did it the wrong way. They tried to coerce people, to force people, right, to actually enter into their bodies and minds and break them. And once they were broken, they would betray love. Right? And the reason totalitarianism did it from its perspective was to control society for the greater good. A more accurate view of totalitarianism, the ring of power, right? The ring of Sauron, right? The seduction of power. But Skinner says, no, we do need to control everyone. And to control everyone, right, we need to control all values which are not real, including love, but the way we're going to do it is, within the structure of Walden 2, we're going to create invisible controllers, right, that actually, and our assumption is, love's not real. And 4 times in Skinner's great book, Beyond Freedom and Dignity, that's its name, right, which animates the entire web, because his book goes to the MIT Media Lab that animates the web, is that love is not real. We actually invisibly guide people to what kind of person they should marry. Now, you think you made free choices about who I married, but the amount of force exerted, and it's going to increase exponentially. Who should I desire? Who should I be with? What should I like? We completely dissociate from our own script of desire. But much deeper, and that's what we're going to address now. Skinner's assumption is that's never broken forth into popular culture at this level. And of course, the way you do it is, it's got to be invisible controllers, so you would never say it out loud. But actually, the entire movie, right, is a devastating deconstruction of any relationship to the idea that love is actually real. And the language of love and real in the movie is Ken and Barbie. There's no Ken and Barbie. They don't exist. So the first scene I want to take a look at, I'm watching the time. The first scene I want to take a look at is, right, this moment in which Barbie's escaped. She's in the real world. There's a whole dramatic chase scene. And then the question becomes, oh my God, right? So what are we going to do with Barbie now? So let's take a look at that scene.
Hey, what about Barbie?
What do you mean?
What's her ending? What does she get?
Well, that's easy. She's in love with Ken.
That is not her ending.
I'm not in love with Ken.
Boom. Now, if you read the scene superficially, it looks like, I don't love this guy. That's not what the scene means. What she means is, Barbie's not in love with Ken. And there's lots of, I'll show you a bunch of things. She's not saying, I don't like this guy. She's saying, Barbie's not in love with Ken. Ken's not in love with Barbie. Right? That's not her ending. Love's not the goal. Did you get that? That's saying, love's not the goal. That's not the ending. Right? I'm not in love with Ken. The very structure of Barbie and Ken actually doesn't exist. Now, here we go. Let's take a look, okay? We're just going to take a look, right, at a bunch of scenes, and we'll get a sense kind of how this all plays. So let's take a look. First scene, I'm going to just try and do a bunch of scenes and kind of run you through this, right, fairly quickly, but hopefully you'll actually be able to get a sense of the whole thing. So if you could show me, right, actually, you know what, I'm going to start with a song. Let's play the Ken song, okay? And just what I'm doing now, so it's not, I'm trying to find, like, what's the essential piece in these few minutes you need to see to actually get what's happening here in a way that's invisible. So there's a song that Ken sings, okay, which is the Ken song. So let's actually play the Ken song. Let's actually start there. Let's play the Ken song. Let's take a look at the Ken song. Take us inside.
But what will we fight with? We have no guns.
Tennis rackets and volleyballs
and slap fights
and beach offs.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do, I'm always number two. No one knows how hard I tried. Oh, I have feelings that I can't explain, driving me insane. All my life been so polite, but I'll sleep alone tonight. 'Cause I'm just kidding, anywhere else I'd be a 10. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility? I'm just kidding, where I see love she sees a friend. What will it take for her to see the man behind the 10 and fight for me?
It's an incredible scene. Okay, now stay close, okay? And from now, no pauses. We're going straight through, and then we're going to close, okay? And we're going to finish exactly right on time, Chronos time, Kairos time. Okay, so here we go. So 1, Ken in the movie stands for love. He's standing for love is real. Step 1. Step 2, the insidious move that the movie is making is Ken is patriarchy. So that which stands for love is real is patriarchy. Did you get the move? In other words, patriarchy is saying love is real. That's actually a strategy of patriarchy. That's the line the movie's making. All the reviews just missed it or ignored it. It's blatant. In other words, if we had time, I'd go through the 8 moves in the movie, but Ken is patriarchy. That's the point, right? And it's patriarchy Ken who's standing for love is real. Now, listen to the lyrics. Let's just read the text. Doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number 2. So that starts with caricaturing the male, as in rivalrous conflict, win-lose metrics. Always number 2. The entire scene is a caricature of male violence. Right? So if you look at the opening scene that we mentioned the other day of Saving Private Ryan, as guys are mowed down on the beach, this is a beach scene, men on the beach, but of course the beach is the place that men have died, right? Right? Millions of men died on beaches, right? But what does Ken say? Just want you to catch the resonance. I beach. And what is beaching? Right? This beaching is this great war between men, and it's a war, if you remember the plot line of the movie, over egoic insults perceived from the feminine, which somehow we feel slighted. And so we actually create a war over those, right, trifling contraction insults. So this is men beaching, male violence caricatured as inanely stupid, right, on the beach. But then the lyrics of it are, and it's shocking. I'm always number 2. No one knows how hard I tried. Oh. Because that's the first 3 lines, right? So you read it. As the critic said, right? Men, right? Rivalrous conflict, win-lose metrics. But now listen to the 2nd, 4th line, okay? And this 4th line is mocked in the movie. You don't even catch it. Listen to the line. I have feelings I can't explain. Right? But those feelings explained by the movie are just the social construction of a sick patriarchy, right? But what he says is, and the goddess kind of finds her way in, is, I have feelings I can't explain. They're driving me insane. Wow. All my life's become so polite, but I'll sleep alone tonight. Critics read it, the guy always needs a babe in his bed. That's not what he's saying, right? Despite their best effort, the goddess found her way here, right? I have feelings I can't explain. How do I know what I know? Anthro-ontology, anthro-human ontology, it lives in me. The mysteries are within us, right? I have feelings I can't explain. They're driving me insane. In other words, the normal consciousness of evolutionary psychology of win-lose metrics that I'm supposed to be completely satisfied in, right? The polite place, all my life I've been so polite, I've operated in that system, it's driving me insane. And I'll sleep alone tonight, right? And then the next line, why? Because I'm just Ken. Then he reverts back. There's multiple voices that I'm just Ken. Okay, I got it. Let me push that down. I'm just Ken. Got it. Patriarchy. I'm just Ken. Anywhere else, I'd be a 10. Right? So he kind of reverts back into that other voice because my friend Dick Short's Internal Family Systems, there's different voices. So we see his different voices here. And then he says this incredible line, right? You know, and look at that body, which, by the way, yeah, I know I don't want to tell you, but yeah, okay, so they took a picture of me and, all right, that might not be true, okay? Sorry, okay? So, right, but like men in the room, like we all dream one day we might look like that. It's never going to happen. So just give it up. Sabri, get lost, okay? So here we go, okay? So here we go, right? So it's really beautiful. And he says this gorgeous line. He says, is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility? Isn't that a gorgeous line? And they wrote it cutely, slapstick, but kind of that literally she found her way into the line, right? Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility? Shakespeare couldn't have done that much better. I mean, it's a gorgeous line, but gets completely lost. Hasn't been commented on by anyone, right? Is it my destiny, right? And just let me ask you a question. How many men in the room can just relate to that line or lines in the room, right? Meaning I'm in win-lose metrics. I'm in competition, right? I'm in competition. I've got to compete, right? And then he says, I'm just Ken. Now here's the key line. Where I see love, she sees a friend. But he's not talking about their relationship. You get that? He's not talking about their relationship. That's a complete misreading of the movie, right? For lots and lots of reasons, right? But but he's saying, no. For her, it's friendship. Ken, you're so brave, right? Ken says, could I sleep overnight? Why would you do that? It's girls' night every night. I don't want you here, Ken, right? Yuck. Then he says, what will it take for her to see the man behind the tan and fight for me? So is that male ego? There's some of it. Some male ego there, for sure. But is that male ego at its core? No. What will it take for her to see the man behind the tan? Now, does he have a huge responsibility, right, in the level of a superficiality? Of course he does. That's a given. Right? The opposite of the sacred is the superficial. That's a given. Right? We get the critique of Ken. That's a good critique. It's a good critique of patriarchy received. But he's saying something here, right? He's saying, right, I want her to see me. I'm actually desperate for her to see me. Right? What will it take? Right? For her to see the man behind the tan and fight for me. You have to understand, these are the lyrics to that scene on the beach. You get that? That kind of caricatured scene on the beach, these are the actual lyrics to that you don't quite catch. And then, right, he says, I want to know what there's to love, to feel the real thing. These are the caricatured lyrics, okay? And then the next line is literally straight out of 1984. He says, is it a crime? Right? Is it some violation? Right? What am I doing wrong here? Right? And what he's saying is, right, actually what everything's telling me is there is no Barbie and Ken. It's what Barbie's saying. It's what culture's saying. I'm just Ken. That's the name of the song. I'm just Ken. Is it a crime? Then he says, am I not hot when I'm in my feelings? Can I trust my feelings? Right? And what he's saying is, right, all of culture is telling me I can't trust my feelings. Now, I want you to get really clear, friends. I take for a given the feminist critique of patriarchy that's in the movie. I take that as a given to be correct. Right? There's obviously a huge critique of patriarchy. Patriarchy, what that actually is, a larger conversation. But I think we all in this room can take as a given that there was something to critique in patriarchy, and that feminism did a good job of critiquing part of it. That's a given in the room. That's our structure. We're starting from there. But that's not what the movie's doing. What it's saying is there's no Barbie in Ken, right? And is my moment finally here, or am I dreaming? I'm no dreamer, right? Ken, right? Can you feel the Ken energy? Feels so real. But then he realizes, no, I'm just Ken. Anywhere else, I'd be a 10. Where I see love, she sees a friend. And then there's resignation at the end of the movie. Complete resignation. He says, I'm just Ken and I'm enough. You get that? I'm just Ken and I'm enough and I'm doing great stuff. Wow. Complete resignation. So, hey, check me out. Yeah, I'm just Ken. My name's Ken. So am I. Put that manly hand in mine. So, hey, well, check me out. I'm just Ken. Baby, I'm just Ken. That's a suicide note. Do you get that? And now, that this was written is not the problem. That this was written as I'm just Ken and completely missed by culture, when actually it's a complete indictment of the very notion of Barbie and Ken, which if Ken actually matures and wakes up, he doesn't awaken to love. His waking up is the realization that love's not real, that there is no Barbie and Ken. Right? Now, this is not me reading you a text, right, of a postmodern, Derrida text or early Foucault. I'm reading you the text that's at the center of culture now, right? And no one bothered to read the song. And the critics that did read the song, oh, this is a male ego song. That's how they read it. It's not a male ego song. This is a plaintive cry of a human soul. It's not a male issue. It's not a man. This is not a man-woman issue at all. This is the line. Whoever the line is, any of the men and women in the room, this is the line saying, oh my God, right? Love is real, but it's real. And I want him to see behind and be willing to fight for me. But where I see love, my feelings, I can't trust my feelings. Now, the surest way to control, whether it's overt Orwellian totalitarian control, closed society, China, or it's open society, totalitarianism, B.F. Skinner, Walden 2, MIT Media Lab, is to tell you can't trust your feelings. You get that? If you can't trust your deepest feelings, and if I can split your own trust of your feelings, I've got you. Wow. And now here's the crazy fucking thing, right? There's no demons in this story. Okay? If I brought Alex Pentland into this room, you would meet, and the entire staff of the MIT Media Lab, you would not meet people with horns. You'd meet fantastic people who you'd love to have dinner with, right? You might want to sleep with, right? Right? Great people, great men and women are running these things, right? It's the existential risk is not from a conspiracy theory. There's no conspiracy theory that's actually really what's happening. It's the structure of the system itself, and it's inexorable movement in where it's going. Did you get that? That's actually what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to do one more song. Instead of doing 1,000 scenes, we're going to do songs. It's a different way in, okay? So I'm going to do one more song. Everybody up for another song? Another song? We okay? Right, another song. So here we go. We're going to do another song. This song is the song of Barbie. Now, you might say, he's just making that up. Well, I'm not. It happens 3 times in the movie. How many times in a movie you do a song 3 times? So there's this song that goes 3 times in the movie, which never happens, and then they put it in the trailer of the movie. Okay? So, and the song seems to be this very sweet song. We're going to put it up on the, where are we going to put it up? We're going to put it up on the overhead. And if you guys are up for it, right, it's a nice time to do a little Girl Scout thing, and we'll just do a little sing-along, okay? And then we're going to read the song, okay? So give us, if you can give it to us on the overhead. And Zora, you got it. David, you got it. Give it to us on the overhead, the words, if you can. Okay, if we can find those words. We have the words, don't we? I think we do. We have the words? Yes? Awesome, right? And it's this Indigo Girls. Name of the song is Closer to Find. All right, let's get this going on here. Here we go. Go. Give it to me in the movie. Watch this. Center of a culture. Take us inside. Happens 3 times. We're just going to see a couple of them, but just watch the play. Watch the play.
Bye, Barbie. Good luck in reality.
Watch for cellulite.
Movie.
I went to the doctor. I went to the mountains. I looked to the children. I drank from the fountains. There's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line. And the less I seek my source from some definitive, closer I am to find. Closer I am to find.
What are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
Please get out.
I can't. I made a double bet with Ken, and you can't make me look uncool in front of Ken.
Ken's not cool.
He is to me.
You're just gonna slow me down.
Art, what if there's beach? You'll need someone who's a professional in that.
Did you bring your rollerblades?
I literally go nowhere without them.
Second version. One more time.
He said he could see through me. I've spent 4 years brought straight to the higher mind. Got my paper and I was free. I went to the doctor. I went to the mountains. I looked to the children. I drank from the fountains.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you our new radio station, only playing Ken's favorite.
Hold it. Okay. So, watch this. It's crazy. So first off, the last scene, they just got interrupted. This is Sasha and Gloria, right? Mother, daughter, Sasha, daughter, Gloria, mother. We actually think in the movie that it's Sasha playing with Barbie dolls. It's actually Gloria, right? Sasha's dolls have been put away. It's Gloria who took the dolls out, who's having irrepressible thoughts of death and thinking about cellulite. And it's the bond between Barbie and Gloria that begins the movie. The love story in the movie is between who and who? Between the mother and the daughter. And actually, do you see that little moment when she looks over to her mother? It's actually a beautiful, there's actually 6 scenes. I don't have time to show you, but I clipped them out and put them together. There's 6 scenes in the movie, which is the gradual falling in love of Sasha with her mom. So there is a great love story in the movie, but it's a biological, right, love story between Sasha and Gloria. That's the real love story. Now, their singing of the song, again, happens 3 times in the movie, and they put it in the trailer without talking about it, meaning it's the anthem. Right? Now, it's not that they fully understood what they were doing. That's not the point, as we always say. This is culture speaking, and just watch this. It's kind of like unimaginable. So first, I'm going to go slow. What interrupts this song? Ken. Oh, Ken songs are coming on. So the truth of this song is interrupted by Ken. Ken is patriarchy. And what's Ken going to be arguing for? Value and love is real. That's actually the structure of the movie. How does the song move? So listen to the song. I'm trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me some insight between black and white. Right? So I'm trying to discern, trying to understand my life. And really, the best thing you ever done for me is to help me take my life less seriously. Now, first blush, great. Let's take our lives a little less seriously, right? Does that sound good? Sure it does. But what's the point here? Less seriously means here with less gravitas. Less seriously means doesn't matter. Why do you think this whole fucking thing matters so much? Relax. The thing doesn't matter at all. That's what the song is saying. Listen to it. It's only life after all. And this is one of the themes of Barbie. One of the themes of Barbie is when Ruth Mattel, right, quote unquote God, right, says to Barbie, you want to become human? They just live and die. And they make shit up along the way because they're uncomfortable, so they make ideas up. That's an exact quote. And then you die. Why would you want to do that? Barbie in the beginning of the movie, right, is doing this all girls night dance. We'll see it in a second. And then she says, and then I'm thinking about death, thinking about dying. Remember, the music stops. We saw the clip. The music stops, and I'm dying to dance more. So it's the irrepressible thoughts of death that who has in the movie? That Gloria has, right, in the real world, that then leak. She's thinking about death and cellulite, that then leak into Barbie. Now, Barbie's thinking about death, right? Thinking about death ruins the story, right? That gets in the way because we actually want to live in this, right, illusory world where we actually ignore the question of meaning because our assumption is meaning is not real, because value is not real. And value is not real because you live fucking once, and then the whole fucking thing is over. Mother Teresa, Hitler, it actually doesn't matter. Now, we're not going to say that overtly, but basically there's no field of value. There can't be a field of value because you can't create a field of value. You cannot understand the world in terms of value if this life is all there is. I want to make that very clear, right? Any attempt, right, to actually, Jung said, right, in his Red Book, Jung writes, I cannot establish, right, mental stability in a patient unless I can give them access to the realization that there's life beyond the boundaries of this life. Jung said, I cannot establish mental stability in a patient. Now, what happened is the religions hijacked that. Oh, sure, there's immortality, and we happen to know the way, and there's a cost. And the cost is you do it our way. If you don't do it our way, you have no immortality, and it looks exactly like this. Wrong, 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 right? But what do? Right, in this massive correct rebellion, in this evolutionary thrust forward, where we rejected the character versions, right, of harps in heaven, we actually rejected our innate knowing. Harry Chapin, I have this funny feeling, we'll all get together again. You know, I talked to Sally, right, a few hours before she died. She was fully alive. She was fully alive. A few hours later, she was dead, right? That's how we started. And it was utterly clear in my body that Salliness hadn't disappeared. Meaning, had Salliness disappeared forever, what that essentially would have meant that every single conversation we had at some level was a mockery. And it's why when you fall in love with someone, when you really fall madly in love, what do you say? I'm going to love you forever, right? Because forever is this sense. Now, forever doesn't mean everlasting time. It doesn't, by the way, necessarily mean that I'll ever meet Sally again in the way we met in this lifetime. But it does mean, right, that this essence that's called Salliness, right, actually continues. Right? There's a continuity of consciousness. You know, George Bertrand Russell, right, the great atheist of the 20th century, says, where I run into trouble, I can't get beyond it. He writes Principia Mathematica with Alfred North Whitehead. He says, I don't know how to work out value theory. This is a direct quote. He says, I can't see my way against the arguments for the subjectivity of human values. Meaning Russell, who's not a philosopher, gets caught in the assumption that value is not real. Because that reigned in the day. There's no one who was able to think out of that. That was the given every place. He says, but I can't bring myself to believe that the only thing wrong with mass murder is that I don't like it. That's a direct quote from Russell. It's like, whoa, right? Right? So, in other words, there's no way to understand reality. And just go say really crazy close if you can for a second. In my body, I know that fairness is real. Does everyone get that? Is everyone access to what I'm saying? I mean, it's not I'm telling you, Gafni says fairness is real. No, we all know fairness is real. We have cross-cultural information and developmental thought that across cultures and across time, right? One of the loudest cry of a child is, it's not fair. Right? That's pre-culture, right? It's the beginning of language, right? When you feel fairness has been violated, there's this scream, this primal scream. There's an enormous amount of developmental literature about this, cross-time, cross-culture. My friend Zach, my student, my friend, my colleague, my beloved, right? This is Zach's field, right, in development. He's the best person at this probably in the world today. Okay, so fairness is real. Now stay close. It gets crazy and beautiful, okay? So we know fairness is real. I mean, it means justice is real in some fundamental sense. Justice is a real category. There's perversions of justice. There's law that's a social construction. I get all of that. But the idea that it should be fair is a fundamental structure that lives in us. Okay, A, everyone got that? B, there's no question that for the majority of human beings, it's not fair in one lifetime. That's just true, right? So unless you're a radical narcissist, right? You're a radical narcissist, meaning it should be fair for me, in which you're a radical egocentric narcissist. So if you are, then just own that. That's fine. If you want to actually, your self-perception is I'm a radical egocentric narcissist. I don't give a fuck if it's fair for everyone. I'm going to work out my own little life and it's fair for me. Great, right? Great. But I don't think that your self-perception or mine is that we are radical egocentric narcissists. And I don't think there's one of those in the room. We're actually not. But that's how we live, right? Because the truth is that it's not fair for the majority of the world. One lifetime does not create fairness. There's not equal distribution of talent. There's not equal distribution of wealth. There's not equal distribution of possibility. There's not equal distribution of joy. There's not equal distribution of sexuality. There's not equal distribution of beauty. There's not equal distribution. List goes on and on and on. And yes, I know you can wrest meaning out of any life. Of course you can, right? I work with myself and with people all the time, day and night. I got all that. I got all that. And, so one, fairness is real. Two, for the majority of human beings, fairness does not happen in one lifetime. But if I know absolutely in my body that fairness is a real category, that reality demands fairness, and I know that fairness is not worked out in one lifetime, what else do I know? Well, I know that there's a continuity of consciousness. I know that there can't just be one lifetime. Now, I didn't resort to any of the evidence of reincarnation, of which I said there's an enormous amount. I didn't resort to the philosophical analysis of materialism and dualism, which I've done at great length, right, and written about. I left that off the table. I didn't go for any of the other kinds of empirical evidence that David Ray Griffin writes about, 10 forms for the continuity of consciousness, all of which are real. I just talked about what lives inside of you. It's a big deal. The movie says no. The movie says no. That's the postmodern assumption. It's a dogmatic assumption. It's literally a dogmatic assumption. When I talked to, I won't say the name, a very, very famous scientist, right, who's an excellent scientist, and he says, I'm a stone cold atheist. So I said, I won't say the name. I said, okay, let me go through the evidence. He said, I'm not going through the evidence with you. I know what I know. I said, let me just run this by me again. I said, let's go through the evidence. I've known this guy for years. I will walk you through one piece of evidence at a time, and I will show you, right, that based on every way that you evaluate evidence, there is no way to avoid this conclusion. He would not have the conversation with me. Right? It's not one, right? There's a dogmatic assumption, and that's dogma. It's complete dogma. So the movie adopts that assumption. And the assumption is, right, God says to Barbie, why would you want to become a human being? Right? Right? You live and you die. And the word is uncomfortable, so they make up meaning. Don't do that. Stay in Barbie land, right? And yet, just follow this for a second. Just like Arwen and Aragon and the Return of the King who wants to become mortal, there's something in Barbie who holds the best of humanity and has this yearning to become human in a way that Ruth doesn't quite understand, okay? So now we're just going to finish the song. Okay, we're just going to finish the song. Now just check it out with me. Here it gets crazy. So she says, this was all the explanation of the line, it's only life after all. Yeah? And lightness has a call that's hard to hear. Meaning, forget about gravitas. There's this call for Milan Kundera's unbearable lightness of being, lightness of a call. And I wrapped my fear around me like a blanket, and I sailed my ship off safely till I sank it. I'm going to sink my fear. Right? I'm going to actually lose myself in the lightness of being. I'm crawling on your shores. You begin to see how these right? These are lyrics. So I'm not making any of this up. I didn't do this. This is in culture. And the only thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to basically finish this lyric. I'm not going to do anything else. I prepared for you, 20 scenes, deep analysis of each scene. We'll leave it for another time, okay? But I'm going to finish the song with you, okay? So stay close, okay? And then it goes, and I went to the doctor. I went to the mountains. I looked at the children. I drank from the fountains. And then what does she say? There's more than one answer to these questions, meaning pluralism, meaning a rebellion against one answer. That's good. We should rebel against one answer. But what she's actually saying is, right, there's more than one answer to these questions pointing me in a crooked line. So this is the line. And again, whenever something's true, it's written all over culture. It's pointing me in a crooked line. Lines are crooked. Answers are crooked. And anything that claims to be, here's the next line, right? The next line is, right, and the less I seek my source for some definitive, meaning anything that's intrinsically so. Definitive means definitive. It's real, right? The less I seek my source in anything that's real, and I actually acknowledge that actually there's lots of answers, and the point is, none of them are actually matter. You live once, right? It's all made up. We make them up because we're uncomfortable. And then it goes on. Then the second I get that, closer I am to fine. It's like, wow. Have you been to get this? This is the central lyric of this song. Love story's not real. There's no Barbie and Ken. Value's not real. The field of values, not real. There's no definitive. You live once, it's over. The whole thing's made up. So the second you actually get that, right, the best thing you ever done for me is take this life less seriously. There's not gravitas in this life. Don't try and look for it. And the more you get that, the closer I am to fine. Now, in case you think I missed this, so just take a look. This is what happens when you go look for, right, you go look for actually some depth. And I went to see the doctor of philosophy with a poster of Rasputin. You know who Rasputin was? Rasputin is this demonized, right, figure who's manipulative and controlling and destructive for the sake of power, right? So the doctor of philosophy has a poster of Rasputin, a beard down to his knees, which is obviously not sexy. He never marries. I mean, he doesn't know anything about that stuff, and never saw a B-grade movie. You wouldn't want to hang out with the dude. He graded my performance. He's all line, and he said he could see through me. And it's mocking it. Or I spent 4 years prostrate to the higher mind. I went to do my meditation shit. Got my paper and I was free. Oh, that was university. But I looked to the children. I drank from the fountains. And then I realized, no. These answers to these questions, it's all a crooked line, right? We read to the Bible. That didn't work. Or we did the workout thing. That didn't work. We read up on a revival. That didn't work. Oh, there's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me to a crooked line. And the less I seek my source for some definitive in the real, the closer I am to fine. Okay? Right? This, my friends, right, is postmodernity on steroids at the center, right, of a central movie and culture, and no one even realizes that this is the text. So the reason there's no Barbie and Ken is because how could there be Barbie and Ken? To say that there's Barbie and Ken would be to say there's a value at the very center of cosmos, and that value is Eros. And that actually reality is lines and circles, right, all the way down and all the way up. And that reality is a love story. And so the story of Barbie is, and now notice, someone said to me last night, I won't say the name, it was a very beautiful thing. She said, wow, in my generation, no one does sex. Right? No one's interested. Yeah, there's some sex happening, but basically the sense of Eros, the sense of sex, is not interesting. It's not happening. Remember we talked about it earlier in the week? Because why would I? Right? And so Barbie and Ken don't have genitals, right? And certainly their genitals don't point them to each other. So when, in the end of the movie, when we've now established there's now no Ken, now I'm going to go to the gynecologist, but it has nothing to do with Ken. And by Ken could be Ken, or Ken could be, Barbie and Cindy. That's not the point. The point is there's no love story at the center. The only love story at the center, right, is this, right? The one that you can't deny is the biology of my daughter. Okay, that one. We can hold that one because she's my daughter, right? She's kind of right? You can somehow hold that, right? And of course, the other love story in the movie is, right, Barbie is named after Ruth Mattel's daughter, Barbara. So there's the two mother-daughter moves in the movie, okay? I just touched the bare surface of this. I mean, literally the bare surface, right? But literally, we could go on for about 4 hours now, literally without hyperbole, and take you through scene after scene after scene after scene. So I'll just give you the last image. There's this moment where, in the beginning of the movie, where there's flat foot. My feet are flat. Cellulite. Right? Death. Now I'm gonna pick this one because it's so innocuous. You know the word innocuous, right? It's so subtle. It's so easy to miss. So right? How many people remember that scene? Okay, good. So if you don't, I just said it. Okay. So what's the response? Stay with this. What's the response of the other Barbies, right, to this? Right? What's their response? What was? Yeah, but they say something. What's their response? Anyone? That's disgusting. Revulsion. The word's disgust. Okay, I wrote a long essay on disgust a couple of years ago. There's an entire literature of disgust. What are we disgusted by? Right? Mortality. We're shamed by our mortality. Right? We're shamed by our mortality. And the reason sexuality and sex and death are so intimately related, because they're both take us back to this animal dimension, right, that at least from the perspective of this world dies, right? We're shamed by our mortality. We're shamed by three things. We're shamed by our humiliation and our attempt to get our basic needs met, right? We're shamed by death, by our mortality, right? And we're shamed by our powerlessness. But it's all about the shame of powerlessness at its core. And so if you actually listen, Barbie says, I woke up, right, and I was thinking about death and I was ashamed. Shame, right? So this is this quality of shame that we're trying to avoid at all costs. But actually, the only way to transpose shame is to realize that actually in the depth of my being, right, my needs are filled with dignity, right? My needs are not shame and powerlessness. Actually, when we love each other madly, we look in each other's eyes and we say, your need is my allurement. Isn't that beautiful? Lovers look in each other's eyes and they say, your need is my allurement. And the actual experience of sexing is when the lover says to the beloved, your need is my allurement. It's why in sexing I can actually heal the shame, right, which is the original shame of being humiliated in finding my basic needs. But then I enter the world of sexing, and if I'm actually madly on the inside with my beloved, and I have this insatiable need that would cause me radical shame any place else in social discourse, and my lover looks at me, and he says without words, your need is my allurement. Ken and Barbie, right? All the way up and all the way down. Now imagine, my friends, if we said, your need is my allurement, not just to our one beloved. Our love lists are too short. What if we moved beyond our one beloved and we included the family, or the whole egocentric circle of intimacy? We said to our whole egocentric circle of intimacy, your need is my allurement. And what if, Paul, we expanded that circle and we said to everybody in our gang, in our nation, or whatever it is, right? Whatever our larger gang is, wow, your need is my allurement. And what if we went to world-centric intimacy? See the line moving and the circle expanding? It's another line circle. And we said to every human being, if you're hungry, I'm hungry. And if you're ripped apart, I'm ripped apart. And if you have no drinking water, I have no drinking water, right? And if your children, right, are malnourished, then I'm malnourished, right? And if you don't, I was talking to my dear friend the other day. I was about to say, I won't say his name, and his, beautiful, right, someone close to him, right, is dealing with a particular issue, and he was talking to me about the medical care, right? And I said to my friend, right, how stunningly beautiful that person X can go from this best doctor to that best doctor, right, to get the best medical care. Now, how much of the rest of the world has that available to them? Really? Really? Right? Right? In other words, your need is my allurement. Right? I can't sleep at night if people are hungry. Right? I can't sleep at night, right, if 2 billion people in the world have no access to drinking water. Your need is my allurement. We're in the same circle of value. Now, here it is, right? Here it is. You might say, okay, that's too fucking big, right? Right, Walter, right? You and I talk all the time. What can I do with that? So here it is, and this is what we're going to close with, and this is the end. So why do we close our hearts? If we get Homo Amor, we're emerging as Homo Amor. I am a love story. I'm cosmoerotic universe in person. Right? I realize reality is a love story. Your need is my allurement, right? Extends to every human being on the planet, and maybe I go to cosmocentric intimacy and I maybe give up a lamb chop, okay? I don't want to push it, right? But I actually feel every animal, and I feel actually the cosmos itself. And I have cosmocentric intimacy. I feel the past and the present and the future are awake and alive in me, right? I feel the whole thing. But then what do I do with that, right? Because the second I begin to feel it, one of my best friends said to me yesterday, how do I feel this much? Right? So when I feel too much, I close down because I can't hold it. Right? And it's not because I'm egocentric or narcissistic. It's because the gap between my ability to feel and my ability to heal is too great. So in that gap, I close my heart. So how do I open my heart? So I can only open my heart if I close that gap. Homo Amor has to know how to close the gap. So here it is, and this is where we conclude, but it's the whole thing. So here's what I do. I say, I'm in relationship to the whole thing. I'm willing to feel the whole thing. Not every minute of every day, but I'm going to be in relationship to the whole. The meta-crisis is a crisis of intimacy, and the crisis of intimacy is our capacity to feel the whole. Now, 1,000 years ago, a very narrow band of enlightened people could feel the whole because I lived in Burma. Now, that's not true anymore. The notion of locality literally doesn't exist. We said on the first day, right, you have a virus. The virus now has infected the entire world. There is no local, and of course, we absurdly tried to handle it locally. The notion of local literally does not exist. It's not just one love, right? It's literally that one love is instantiated in a reality that's completely interdependent. Okay, so I've got to be in relationship to the whole. We see a picture of planet Earth, right, from Apollo, and oh my God, right, that's us. I literally, to be Homo Amor is to be in a relationship to the whole, right? I experience the entire field. Now then I can't heal the whole. So my next step is, no. I'm not just true self. I don't just feel the whole. I'm unique self. And I don't need to heal everything. That is not my responsibility. I cannot do that. That's not mine to do. I don't need to write a great library, as a couple of crazy people might do that. It's not mine to do. So what is mine to do? What's mine to do is, and friends, and this is it, right? So who are you? Who am I? And I apologize for using the you, but by you I mean me and I and we. Who are you? You are an irreducibly unique expression of the love intelligence and love beauty and love desire of all that is, that lives in you, as you, and through you, that never was, is, or will be ever again other than through you. And as such, you, me, we, Unique Self Symphony have the capacity to stand on the abyss of darkness and say, let there be light. How? How? Through living in my unique perspective, my unique quality of intimacy that come together to form my unique gifts that address a unique need in my unique circle of intimacy and influence. That's what's mine to do. Meaning, to be a unique self means I have a unique set of allurements. It means I have a unique set of outrageous acts of love that are mine to do and no one else's. Those, that's it. I commit my outrageous acts of love, but I can't do it myself. So I look for others because actually I'm in a unique self symphony. So I'm going to find the others. I'm going to create the relationships that allow us to come together as unique self symphonies and actually commit outrageous acts of love, not as a top-down, organized surveillance structure imposed system, but actually we come together as unique self symphonies and we begin to experience a planetary awakening in evolutionary love through unique self symphonies all the way up and all the way down. Wow. That is a valid, compelling, and actually pragmatically available social vision. That actually we enact a world where I actually know who I am. I'm a unique self. I have a unique set of allurements. I'm a unique expression of the whole. I have a unique gift to give to my unique circle of intimacy and influence, and that is actually, right? It's at the core structure and fabric of the education system itself. Homo Amor. Who are we? We are Homo Amor. Homo Amor is the love intelligence of the cosmos arising in me, as me, and through me, and then as we find each other in unique self-symphonies. So what do? I do only what's mine to do. But when I do what's mine to do, oh my God, I fuck it open. I give it all. I love it open. It's mine. And it's this, no one else is going to do this. Right? I can't turn away. Right? I step in, and to be a unique self is to be an outrageous lover. It's to feel outrageous love moving through me. And what does an outrageous lover do? First, an outrageous lover keeps all the boundaries that should be kept, obviously, and breaks all the boundaries that should be broken, obviously. But what does an outrageous lover do? She commits outrageous acts of love. And then I realize, oh, that's why I'm here. It's my greatest joy. I commit outrageous acts of love for myself. I love myself madly. I love you madly. Because you know what? The whole thing is a love story. Barbie and Ken are real. It's real. It's the most real thing that exists. Yeah. Let's hold that.
Wow. Yes. Let's hold that together. Wow. So powerful to be together again at Eros Mystery School. And for those of you who have been with us in these last weeks, building and building and building in articulating this new script of desire, and those first weeks on Barbie, we've done several sessions here in One Mountain. You realize that this was really a huge missing piece that we really needed to kind of see the whole picture. And so I'm so grateful to be sharing this with all of you. And of course, if you want to join the next Eros Mystery School, you can. It is November 13th till November 17th, 2024 in Holland. So you're super welcome to come there. And of course, we have also the crossing that is happening in April, from April 25th till April 28th. So that's another beautiful opportunity to meet each other and to be together. As you can see and feel, at least I do, when we're together in the room and we're studying and practicing and chanting and in this Dharma, it's so powerful. So thank you for being here today. The way Marc spoke in the end of this video so beautifully about how we are each needed to commit our outrageous acts of love in this unique self symphony. That is truly the invitation here, and it's a powerful invitation, and it's an invitation that is about leadership and really taking our place, taking our seat at the table of history. And it just fills me every day with hope to be here together in this band of outrageous lovers, with all of us here together, whatever our role is, our level of participation is just showing up here every week is an amazing contribution as well. And if you're ready to really step into resourcing One Mountain, of course, that is also desperately needed to really lift this up to the next level. So if you go to onemountainmanypaths.org, you will find a tab that says membership. So you can read all about how you can make a monthly contribution, and that really helps us get these books out into the world. So thank you so much for being here, for participating, and for playing a larger game.